I'll try that again online with my mic on. Good morning, CenterPointe Church. It's great to be here. Happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day. He is risen. There we go. We got it all together now. My name is Tom. I'm lead pastor at CenterPointe. Welcome all of you, especially those who are new or newer and online as well. Online, don't forget about asking for that book that we're giving away. If you're new or newer, we want to have you our online congregation. I know there's some who are normally online that are here with us today, but wherever you are, you're part of us and we're part of you. We are family. You know, it's great to be here. I look at these stained glass here, and it reminds me of a story. As beautiful as this is, it reminds me of a recent experience that I had. It was something I saw. I visited a friend who always brags about their church. You know, how their worship is so great, and their production for their online campus is like Hollywood, and their pastor, best preacher they ever heard. This guy used to go to the church that I pastored, and I preached at most every day. So I just figure he forgot how awesome I really am. Anyway, he took me to this great church to tour it. On the way, he's telling me about all the upgrades and the stained glass windows. When I got there, I was a little underwhelmed. It just looked, from the outside, just looked like dark glass with, you know, that flex seal holding it together. You know that flex seal stuff? That stuff you're supposed to be able to put on a boat and be able to ride through the water? Well, it was holding the pieces together for sure, but they were unimpressive. Then he told me that, while we're still outside, that the windows, those stained glass windows, cost upwards of $500,000. And I said, friend, you know that we at CenterPointe are building a new church building, right? I mean, that's almost 1/5 of our, that could pay for a whole building. And you spend it all on stained glass windows? He said, wait till you see them. So he gave me a tour, and the sun was kind of getting low in the sky, and they took me into the sanctuary, and there I saw them. And honestly, it took my breath away. It was beautiful. All the colors of the rainbow were there. And that lead that held it all together, it just accentuated those colors. And that day, I had a new appreciation for stained glass windows. Not $500,000 worth of stained glass windows. And when our creative team told me about their idea for Easter, I never believed they could make such beautiful stained glass. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Hours upon hours. Cost almost 500,000 hours, but not dollars. Maybe you heard of a guy named Simon Peter. He was one of Jesus' 12 disciples. He also was part of an inner 3 of those 12 and became the leader of the 12 apostles and even the leader of the church for a brief time, which is a pretty sweet resume. But if you've ever had a productive employee who gave you stomach ulcers, now you know what Jesus' and Peter's relationship was like. Peter's one of those people who regularly put his foot in his mouth. Like when he told Jesus, you can't go to Jerusalem, and Jesus replied, get behind me, Satan. Or when Jesus was being arrested, impulsive Peter whacked off one of the soldiers' ears. I could just see Jesus' eyes rolling. He said, I could have called 10,000 angels, and now I got to pause and put together this ear again. He was always a big talker. He just told Jesus one time, you know, all these other 11 guys, they might desert you, but I will die for you. And then hours later, he denies even knowing Jesus. And then for 3 days, hides, hoping that they don't connect him with Jesus. By Saturday morning, Jesus is buried. And Peter's life is like those stained glass windows. his life is shattered, just little pieces. But today, Peter's going to learn Jesus does not discard broken pieces. He reclaims them. Jesus does not discard broken pieces. He reclaims them. And that is what Jesus wants for you and for me. He'll take those shattered pieces in our lives, and he'll gather them together, reclaiming us. And he'll never ask why you failed. He'll only ask, do you love me? Saturday night would have been a sleepless night for Peter. But when he rose that Sunday morning, everything had changed. 4 women first saw it. Angels at the tomb saying, Jesus is gone. Peter and John, they ran to the tomb, and sure enough, it was empty. It's clear someone stole the body. Could have been Pilate, but it's probably the Pharisees. And then, like a whirlwind, Mary Magdalene comes in and she says, his body wasn't stolen. I saw him. Later that same day, he appeared to 2 men walking home. That night, he appeared to 10 out of the 11 disciples. Thomas wasn't there. Thomas doesn't believe. A week later, Jesus shows up like he did the week before. This time, all 11 are there. Thomas believes, and from then on, he got the nickname of Doubting Thomas. It's been a wonderful but confusing time. Jesus appears. He stays for a short period of time, and then he's gone. Approximately 2 weeks have passed since his resurrection. And the Bible says in John chapter 21, verse 3, Jesus appeared again to the disciples, this time at the Tiberias Sea, which is also known as the Sea of Galilee. This is how he did it. Simon Peter, Thomas, nicknamed Twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the brothers Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. Simon Peter announced, I'm going fishing. The rest of them replied, we're going too. And they went out and got in the boat. You can just see them hanging around together, these 7 guys. All this stuff's been going on for 2 weeks. What are we supposed to do now? What do we do next? And someone says, well, why don't we just do what comes natural? And Peter says, well, let's go fishing. I don't know why they went fishing. Could have been they needed the money. Could have been they just needed dinner. Or maybe they needed a bit of normality. Things have been crazy. They need some place to sit and think. And there's no place better than the water. You fishermen would agree with that. Whatever the reason, around 3 a.m., 7 disciples pushed off in a boat to go fishing, because that was the perfect time to fish in the Sea of Galilee. So John, who was there, explains what happens next. They caught nothing that night. When the sun came up, Jesus was standing on the beach, but they didn't recognize him. Jesus spoke to them, good morning. Did you catch anything for breakfast? They answered no. He said, throw the net off to the right side of the boat and see what happens. They did what he said, and all of a sudden, there were so many fish in it, they weren't strong enough to pull it in. Then the disciple Jesus loved said to Peter, it's the master. Interesting, that little phrase, the disciple Jesus loved, is repeated over and over in the book of John. You know who says that? Well, John writes it. You know who he's writing it about? John. Now, that's kind of an unusual thing. It's like he's saying, Daddy likes me better, na, 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 na. No, if you read the Gospels, you see there's a tension between John and Peter, kind of a rivalry. And this might have been John's way to remind Peter of the pecking order. Or maybe it's a little kinder option would be that he's just refusing to take center stage, to assume the spotlight. He's essentially saying, my identity is not found in my name, but knowing I'm loved by Jesus. Whatever the reason, the fish story is reminiscent of another fish story. It's found in Luke chapter 5. We see the same things happening. Fish all night, but catch nothing. Jesus tells Peter to try one more time. There's a big catch of fish, and then Jesus asks Peter to follow him, and Peter does. That was 3 years earlier. 3 years have passed, and now Jesus is at another beach just for one reason: to invite the now broken Peter to follow him. Because God doesn't discard broken pieces. He reclaims them. When Peter hears John say it's the master, he jumps out of the boat and swims to shore, leaving the others to secure the fish. He wouldn't know what to expect. A lecture? Probably. Forgiveness? Certainly. Restoration? Unlikely. Verse 9 says, when they all got there, they found breakfast waiting for them. Fish cooking over a charcoal fire and some bread. Bring some of the fish you've just caught, Jesus said. So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net to the shore. There were 153 large fish, and yet the net hadn't torn. Why does John feel the need to tell us there are 153 fish in there? Why? Seems like an unusual number and unnecessary. Except that John wants everyone to know, all of his readers should know, that this fishing trip wasn't just another fishing trip. It was a miracle. Not just because they caught it in the early morning, in the midday sun, but because there were so many. And the nets didn't break. So while others are cleaning up breakfast, Jesus and Peter go for a walk. John chapter 21 says, after breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, or Peter the son of John, when I was a kid, when I got in trouble, my mom didn't call me Tom. She called me Thomas George Walker, get over here. Now, Jesus is using Peter's full name, so I think he's in trouble. What follows is the most famous conversation in the Bible. Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, Peter replied. You know I love you. Then feed my lambs. Peter, do you really love me more than these nets, the boats, your job, your career, your identity? Do you really love me more than that? Jesus, you know I love you. And then Jesus says, and care for my church. Restoration. Jesus, some steps go by, and Jesus repeated the question, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Yes, Lord, Peter says, you know I love you. Then take care of my sheep. Peter, do you truly love me more than your friends? More than your associates, more than your family? Do you truly love me? And Jesus says, Jesus, you know I love you. Oh, then protect my church, Peter. Nurture the young ones. Correct the misguided ones. Watch over the old ones. They walk a while, and then Jesus turns to Peter. You can only imagine his eye to eye. And he says, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt that Jesus asked the question the third time. He said, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Jesus said, then feed my sheep. I'll take a little liberty here. It's kind of like him asking Peter, do you love me enough to really keep your word? Do you love me enough to be loyal in good times and bad times? Do you love me enough to acknowledge me to your friends and even to the enemies? Do you love me enough to really be faithful? Peter couldn't miss the significance of those three statements. This conversation is hitting right to the core of everything. 3 denials, 3 questions. And I read into the passage, but I don't think I misread it too much. I can just hear him say, Jesus, all I can say is I love you the best that I know how. And that's all Jesus wanted. Jesus paused. He looked at him and said, Peter, watch over my church. Peter, welcome home. That day, Jesus picked up 3 sharp, broken pieces of Peter's life and began to reclaim them and form them into something new. With every piece, Jesus was creating something beautiful. And what Peter experienced that day, he has for each one of us in this room and online. Your broken pieces are not wasted, are not meant for the garbage heap. They're not considered useless. Your failures are not final. They don't have to define you. And the fragments that you think are so hideous, so embarrassing, so bad that you try to ignore them. God says, no, I'll make something beautiful out of them if you allow me to be part of your brokenness. Like the lines of the lead that give structure to the stained glass, our lives are held together by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Without him holding us together, all of our life is just scattered, just empty pieces. But when we allow him to take those pieces of brokenness and pain, those fragments that were caused by disappointments, abuse, abandonment, failure, sin, he reclaims it and he restores it and makes it into something valuable. And that's when regret becomes a testimony. That's when pain becomes compassion. When weakness forms and his strength emerges, failure becomes restoration. So one day, when people will look back at your life, they won't see brokenness. They'll see a beautiful masterpiece that God made out of a broken life, out of painful experiences, out of disappointments, even sin. All because Jesus does not discard the broken pieces. He reclaims them and he makes us. Let's pray together.